Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy Tony B, and I'm back with another video for y'all today. We got something different. We got the dark life of a one-hit wonder. So this is a video by Patrick CC. I definitely watched a couple of his videos, and I saw this video, so I was like, maybe I should react to it with y'all and stuff like that. So yeah, we finna check it out and see some of these one-hit wonders and how like life changes for them and stuff like that. And we might learn some new artists in here too as well. So let's get it.
These artists thought that one-hit record would change their lives for the better. Little did they know it would actually make their lives much harder. The music industry is brutal, and hit songs create expectations that most artists can never live up to. So today we're going to look at the dark reality of going from a nobody to world famous overnight, and how almost all of them ended in disaster. Starting with Gautier, who went from Billboard #1 to somebody that you used to know. During a hiatus with his indie pop band, The Basics, Australian songwriter Gautier began working on his third solo album, Making Mirrors. The second lead single, Somebody That I Used to Know, was entirely written and produced by Gautier in his parents' barn. After singer Kimbra laid down the second verse, Gautier knew the song had a lot of potential, but he never could have predicted that he was sitting on a global hit. In the music video, they stand in front of a flat background while their bodies are slowly painted to blend into a geometric mural behind them, like camouflage. The subtle nudity along with the simple yet striking visual caused the video to soar into the YouTube algorithm in 2011, quickly becoming the third most liked YouTube.
When dislikes was a thing, bro, and they showed how many dislikes it had. That's one thing I'm kind of grateful for, is the dislike button. We can see the dislike button on how many dislikes we have on our video in our YouTube studio, but you can't see it on a regular video. I'm not gonna lie.
Or into the YouTube algorithm in 2011, quickly becoming the third most liked YouTube video of all time. However, almost immediately you could see that Gautier could care less about the superficial numbers associated with his song.
Who really likes things like, you know, on Facebook or YouTube? Like, people go on about likes and stuff. It's such a cursory thing, I think. Maybe it means more to people who are 5 years plus younger than I am, but I'm kind of like, I've never liked something that I've actually genuinely liked. I've just actually liked it and talked to my friends about it, or maybe kept it in mind. I haven't kind of gone like, it's like I actually don't, I don't put any sort of stock in it, really. I mean, I don't know.
Due to countless YouTubers making parody remixes of the track, along with it becoming somewhat of a viral meme, Somebody That I Used to Know topped the charts in more than 20 countries. It held the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks. The song sold over 13 million copies globally, and it is certified platinum in over 10 countries, becoming one of the best-selling digital singles ever. And that all led to the 55th Grammy Awards, where they won Record of the Year and Best Pop Duo / Group Performance. The YouTube video, now having over 2.6 billion views, could have earned over $10 million in ad revenue, but he chose not to monetize the video. I'm not interested in
he said, bro, he could get $10 million in ad revenue, and there's none on it, bro. That's crazy.
$10 million in ad revenue, but he chose not to monetize the video. I'm not interested in selling my music. That's the reason I don't put ads on my YouTube channel, which seems strange to people in today's climate, but that is a decision you can make. Gautier's modesty was almost entirely unheard of in the music industry. He even admitted he was already growing tired of his song. He said, "Sometimes I feel like I'm a bit sick of it. It had an energy that wasn't like anything I've put out before. I don't really feel like it belongs to me anymore."
Sorry for pausing. So the first artist we have here, the reason why he was a one-hit wonder is because he basically didn't want to be one of like a superstar or like a global music artist. So he just basically, for him, he put it into that himself, instead of him like flaming out into like doing like illegal things or getting tied up with a record label. He basically kind of just ended this version of what could have been himself. Basically, he ended it. He basically ended it. He didn't want that life. He didn't want that life.
Everybody else kind of owns it now, especially with there being so many cover versions and parodies. He acknowledged that his song was overplayed and saturated to the point of absurdity, where I feel it's an annoying presence in people's lives that they would prefer not to have. However, when he spoke in interviews, he tried to hide his growing contempt for the song.
Are you sick of hearing your own song?
Sometimes it's weird hearing it come on, you know, in different places, like especially lots of places in a row, public places. But I don't know. Maybe I haven't heard it that much. I don't get the feeling I've heard it as much as some people have heard it. For instance, in places in the United States, where obviously they're so sick of it, they feel compelled to tell me how sick of it they are.
You could feel he wanted to be honest about his love-hate relationship with the fame and attention.
Are you comfortable with all the eyes on you?
I don't know. I think I go back and forth, I guess. Maybe anxious at times or overwhelmed by it or not sure how to process it. And sometimes, you know, I mean, like, say, doing big shows or meeting a bunch of people. There might have been different times where that would have been overwhelming.
When asked if he could produce another hit song, Gaultier replied, "I don't know. Time will tell. I don't know whether I can or whether I want to." We would later find out that he just simply did not want to, because in 2014 he published a newsletter that stated, "New Gaultier music. There will be no new Gaultier music." Wait, maybe there will be. I'm not entirely sure right now. There are many contingencies. This is pretty much the exact opposite of what an emerging artist would do after they had a huge hit song. But he made it clear that he wasn't aiming for global pop stardom. He said, "I would take a sort of perverse pleasure in a certain part of the public thinking of me as a one-hit wonder."
They really do leave after they've heard the hit song.
Especially in America. I really wish I'd decided at some point. I really did want to do a show where I just played that one song 20 times in a row, just without flinching.
Instead of capitalizing on his fame, Gaultier returned to his roots and rejoined his old band with his buddies, The Basics. Since then, the band has released 2 studio albums, The Age of Entitlement in 2015 and Basic in 2019, while continuing to perform for small crowds regularly throughout Australia. He also formed an ensemble called the Ondioline Orchestra to celebrate and revive the rare early electronic instrument, the ondioline. The group debuted in 2016 with a tribute concert honoring electronic music producer Jean-Jacques Perry shortly after his passing, and have since performed at festivals and concerts dedicated to the history of electronic music. Gaultier today spends his days collecting vintage music instruments and creating whatever he wants, whenever he wants, because he refused to sell his soul to the music industry. Wanting to remove yourself from this industry is common for one-hit wonders, just like I Love McConan, but fans were shocked to see him working as a cook at a local restaurant, considering he had a massive song with Drake.
That song was like, I love that song. I'm not gonna lie. That's one of my favorite songs of all time. Tuesday featuring Drake. Whew. Man.
In the 2010s. I Love McConan started as a relatively unknown artist to the public, but was well connected in the Atlanta hip-hop scene, with ties to massive producers like Mike Will Made It, Metro Boomin, Sunny Digital, and 808 Mafia. In the summer of 2014, he released a self-titled EP, which included Got the Club Going Up on a Tuesday. After Miley Cyrus posted his track on Instagram, McConan saw a flood of new listeners. Then popular music blogs were including his music on their staff picks for the week lists, describing McConan's voice as incredible. From there, Sunny Digital, who was the esteemed trap producer who made the beat for Tuesday, got a text from Drake.
I just hit him back. It was him. He just asked him if he can get on the song with though. And I'm like, man, I don't know why you asking me for. Like, call you right back. Let me call McConan right quick and see what's up. Then, you know, McConan was like, of course, like, you know what I'm saying? That's not even the question.
McConan didn't even think twice and was excited for Drake to jump on the remix. On September 1st, 2014, they released the song and it launched up to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100. McConan then signed to Drake's label, OVO Sound, and immediately released his debut album. Being a new rapper with a hit song that featured Drake was a one-way ticket to superstardom. However, for McConan, it was all downhill from here. McConan had a few singles after Tuesday that were doing well online and making the rounds in clubs, such as I Don't Sell Molly No More and I Like To. But then some of his old tweets resurfaced that would sour the relationship between him and Drake. Tweets where McConan called Drake corny and criticized anyone who was a fan of his music. McConan claimed he was simply young, online, and saying wild stuff just to get attention, to get a reaction. As if that wasn't bad enough, 2 months later, McConan claims his Twitter was hacked, where someone made a handful of disparaging tweets, including one that read, "F Drake and F OVO for getting on Fetty Wap's remix and leaving me in the cold."
When all that stuff happened with your Twitter account getting hacked, did that stress your relationship with Rihanna and Drake, the OVO camp? Because I know a lot of people was trying to say, oh, he's about to your drop from
No.
OVO? Everybody's cool.
Yeah, it's just hackers.
It's just hackers.
You know, it's just the internet. I don't know.
However, just a few weeks after this interview, McConan would start to realize that Drake may not have believed that those tweets were sent by hackers. McConan was supposed to perform with Drake at the 2015 Wireless Festival, but could feel tension between them.
But that's when I knew something was weird.
Wow.
Because when I came out on set, you know, everybody was kind of like, and I started losing weight too, right? Drake had like made a little joke, like, oh, you little Eric Benet looking at me, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like, haha. And then, like, I just started to feel this vibe, like a little, you know what I mean? Something was said about me, but we not, you know, I don't know. So I'm like, okay. And so then when we go out to do the song, I'm just doing the hook, and I was supposed to go into my verse, they just cut it. And I was like, okay, thanks. You know what I mean? And I just got off stage. But I was like, this is crazy. Like, the crowd is going crazy right now. They with me, like they ready to hear, you know what I'm saying, I was working with, and they just shut it off, and I was like, all right. So then I left that, and then it just started, you know, it was just like, this is getting weird.
And by the end of 2015, he couldn't hold his tongue anymore. In an interview, he said that OVO delayed the release of tracks from his second album, saying that he submitted the songs to the label in January to be released for the summer, but they were never released. When he asked whether he still spoke to Drake, he said, here and there, by the time this comes out, I'll probably see him 6 more times, or no more times. I don't know. 4 months later, McConan parted ways with Drake's label, OVO Sound, and then proceeded to drop one of the worst freestyles of all time on the Tim Westwood radio show, which coincidentally was him rapping over 3 different Drake beats.
Heard the label said they gon' put the kid on the shelf. That's a motherfucking joke. Boy, don't make me choke. I could freestyle all day, and a nigga will not choke.
Not only was the freestyle bad, but
No, that's not how you do it. That's not how you do things, man. Come on, man.
Freestyle all day, and a nigga will not choke.
Not only was the freestyle bad, but many interpreted it as him dissing Drake. And as a result, at the 2016 VMAs after party in a New York City nightclub, Drake allegedly threatened McConan.
And so then Drake looked at me. I was like, Drake, what's up? And then he looked at me like, nigga, next time I see you, I'm gonna f you up for talking shit. Whole security, everybody looking like, you know what I mean? They seeing Drake is like disgruntled. He about to, so they all looking like, what's the target? And they see McConan, and they're like, huh? Everybody just kind of look confused, like, I don't know, you know what I mean? That ain't no muscle to go and beat down type shit. Like, you know, bro, look, chill. So they just kind of walked on, and then, you know, I just felt like a lot of, you know, like weird, because Rihanna kind of looked at me and was like, what the f? Like, nigga, this is my night up in this. What the f y'all doing?
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. If you got Rihanna looking at you weird, bro, it might be over, gang, bro. It might be over.
And I was just like, look, I don't know. I'm going to just get up out of here.
It was clear that any connection or relationship with Drake was fully destroyed, so McConan decided to just focus on being the most honest version of himself. In 2017, McConan publicly came out as gay, and many speculated that his sexuality played a role in his downfall. He said that previous collaborators wouldn't work with him anymore, and hip-hop's long history of homophobia prevented him from thriving in the industry. Since leaving OVO, he has released several EPs, mixtapes, and 3 studio albums, including a collaborative album with Lil Peep called Diamonds, released in 2023 after Peep's death. He also co-wrote Lil Peep and XXXTentacion's posthumous collaboration, Falling Down. Till this day, McConan is still releasing music consistently, but if I'm gonna be honest, it's just bad. He had a sound that worked in 2014, but 12 years later, he hasn't evolved much. Recently, he went viral after he posted a video of himself working in a restaurant kitchen.
Look at all these people out here working, getting this money. You know what I'm saying? If you need me to come guest chef at your motherfucking spot, holla at me. Let me know what city I'm coming through, cooking up. We got the smash burgers going off tonight.
The internet rushed to tell the story of a fallen rapper who is now working a 9-to-5. But the true story was that a fire had devastated Portland's Burn Money Studios, a hub for local artists where McConan worked, stored merch, and created art. His kitchen shift was a part of a fundraiser to help his community rebuild what they lost. But even if he was working a regular job, there's absolutely no shame in that. These days, McConan says he wants out of the music business. I never chased a recording career. Music was was a way out, but once I
he's
saw the
36
politics,
now?
the
Oh
egos,
my
and the
goodness.
fake-ish, I knew this wasn't for
Wow,
me.
that must have been a long
Respectfully,
time
I want to
ago.
remove myself. Whether it was self-sabotage, making mediocre music, or a closed-minded industry, the reason behind McConaughey's downfall is not exactly clear, unlike Designer, who had one very specific and disturbing incident on a plane involving the FBI that changed his career forever. On December 15th, 2015, just before the peak of the infamous SoundCloud rap era, Designer released Panda on SoundCloud, rapidly gaining millions of streams on the site. The
Timmy
immediate
Turner.
success of Panda led to an all-out bidding war to sign him, with 11 different record labels submitting offers to sign Designer. He ultimately ended up going with Kanye West's record label, Good Music, even though they weren't necessarily offering the most money.
I ain't kid, I ain't have all the money. I just wanted to make the best out of the movement. And that's what got that diamond, because I never seen it for the cash. You feel what I'm saying? I just wanted to be able to create a movement where I could be able to jump on stage and make people mosh pit, feel good, inspire others, tap in, help communities, and really do this shit how I wanted to do it.
That same month, Panda would be re-released under the imprint. Designer would also be featured on Kanye's album Life of Pablo once on Part 2, which included a sample of Panda, and again on Freestyle 4. With the newfound notoriety and a major co-sign from Ye, Panda reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and would eventually become 5 times platinum. You absolutely could not escape this song. It was playing on the radio every hour for months straight. At first, many hip-hop fans, including myself, thought it was a song by the rapper Future, but once they got to know Designer through interviews and social media, his personality was infectious.
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. I'll hold the mic for you if you want me to.
No, I can hold it. It's your night. I'll just sit here. How do you feel being here tonight?
Bro, I feel good, man. Count my blessings, man. Here with my family, with my moms and my pops out tonight. About to see my man Kanye go up there for minutes. I've been nominated for 2 awards. Y'all know what time it is. Hey.
His momentum trickled over into his debut mixtape, New English, which peaked at #22 on the Billboard 200. From there, Designer was featured in the iconic 2016 XXL freshman class, where his freestyle went viral and would end up being released as his next major single called Timmy Turner. But this is where everything started going wrong. Designer and 4 other people were arrested on September 8th, 2016 following a road rage incident in New York City that allegedly ended with the rapper pointing a gun at the occupants of another vehicle. The NYPD confirmed that officers searched the SUV and initially reported finding a large quantity of Oxycontin and various other prescription pills. Designer was taken into custody and faced serious charges including criminal possession of a weapon and criminal possession of a controlled substance, but he would later be released, seemingly unfazed by it all.
They try to keep me in there, you feel me? But when you doing right, you feel me, and keep me in positive, they can't lock you down.
You think you're getting set up, man?
2 days later, prosecutors dropped the felony gun charge. On the other hand, the pills were later identified as anabolic steroids belonging to the driver, Scott Siegel. Although the rapper managed to avoid serious jail time, he had a difficult time replicating the success he had with Panda, and that is likely due to his new music sounding exactly like every other standard trap song made for the past 10 years, all while his vocal delivery sounded just like Future. By 2018, Designer's hype had already died down, which meant the release of his debut EP, LOD, went unnoticed, peaking at #161 on the Billboard 200. From there, the rapper pretty much fell into obscurity and wouldn't make headlines until he parted ways with Good Music in 2019. He never even released a full studio album with the label, but he said the reason behind the fallout was that he was going through family struggles and wasn't able to talk to Kanye about it.
Because the reason why I left, it's because, I was going through like a little mental thing. I was coming up out of high school. My pops just went in a coma. While I was on tour, I was having a great time, but I just knew something at home was happening with my mom and my pop's health and shit. Like, so it was just like, I wanted Ye to talk to, and it was hard to speak on it, you know what I'm saying?
Since leaving Good Music, Designer has dropped several singles and EPs independently, essentially going back to being an underground artist despite once being viewed as one of hip-hop's most promising breakout stars. But hip-hop fans would constantly troll him online saying that he fell off.
Nobody that's doing this shit for me, bro. Like, I signed to Kanye West, the biggest nigga. That nigga scoring the world. Y'all niggas think he's the genius. Y'all niggas think all that nigga shit. Well, to me, nigga, that nigga's crazy, nigga. I've been doing shit by myself. To me, nigga, I brought Good Music back, nigga. And everybody know that, nigga. So what y'all talking about? I fell off, nigga. I only dropped 2 mixtapes, bro. Y'all people was mad ungrateful. Y'all ungrateful for the music I gave y'all.
When he found out about the killing of Migos rapper Takeoff, which happened shortly after the murder of Designer's friend and rapper PNB Rock, he broke down on Instagram Live.
Why? Why did we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we doing it. I swear to God, this shit ain't nothing. I'm done rap. I'm done rap. This version of me is done. It's done. It's done. That's a take off, bro.
It appeared that Designer's mental health was at an all-time low, but we found out how grim it really was on April 17th, 2023, when he exposed his private parts while traveling first class on a Delta airplane from Tokyo to Minneapolis. CBS reported that he was gooning in his seat as well. He would be moved to the back of the plane and monitored by 2 traveling companions. Once the plane landed, Designer was interviewed by an FBI agent and later charged with indecent exposure, a federal misdemeanor offense since the incident took place on an international flight. Shortly after, he released a public statement apologizing for his behavior.
Yeah, man, I messed up, man.
What?
Wasn't supposed to do that, man. Word.
He later pled guilty to the indecent exposure charge and was sentenced to probation and ordered to complete community service and mental health treatment, avoiding jail time once again.
Was it like you thought that it was funny, or was it more something where like you were just fully like tweaked out of your mind and you just didn't know what you were doing?
Yeah, didn't know what I was doing. I was fully tweaked out of my mind. This is when I was vegan. I didn't have enough sugars, and yeah, so it was like I was kind of like out of my body. It really wasn't like who my character was, and it's just like word, bro. I was on medication. I took medication and word and just went to sleep on the plane.
Now this was a pretty serious crime, something that could have easily got him sex offender status, but Designer has tried to dissuade anyone from thinking those were his intentions.
Thinking like, damn, I hope nobody thinks I'm a pervert or anything. Like, that's not what I'm all about, you feel me? I'm all about just like love and just like keeping things going and stuff.
He was open about the fact that he went to a mental health facility and has been on medication since then. Fans wrote, he aged 20 years after the incident. Dude's on all the psych meds. And just last week, Designer was arrested again on charges of third-degree domestic assault. In his mugshot, he looks completely unrecognizable to the smiling superstar we once knew. It's evident that the pressure of being a mainstream artist was just too much for Designer to handle, as this industry often chews up and spits out those who rapidly ascend to fame. Lucky for him, he is still able to survive off the money he made from his hit song. The same thing cannot be said for Kevin McCall, who had a hit song alongside Chris Brown, never made any money from it, and recently broke down in tears revealing he was on government assistance. While Kevin K-Mac McCall is mostly known for his appearance on Chris...
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I know Kevin McCall. Actually, I reacted to Deuces, the music video. It's on my Patreon if y'all want to check that out and stuff like that. His verse was fire, bro. His verse was fire. I have heard this story about him and Chris Brown, like the fallout and stuff like that, but he might have some extra intel in it.
Brown's hit single, Deuces, he has had a long career behind the scenes as a songwriter. In the 2000s, he signed with Chris Brown Entertainment under Interscope Records before working on half of Brown's 2016 mixtape, In My Zone. K-Mac played a significant part in helping Brown find his sound after the critical and commercial failure of Graffiti, which was Chris Brown's comeback album following the domestic violence case with Rihanna. McCall also earned credits as a songwriter on nearly every track in Brown's In My Zone 2. Working under CB opened up doors for him to work with Kanye West, Justin Bieber, Gucci Mane, Drake, and others. However, Kevin's most memorable work came on Brown's 4th studio album, Fame. He worked on hits like She Ain't You, Wet the Bed, and Yeah x3, the latter of which peaked at number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100. At a time when people questioned whether or not Chris Brown's career could recover, the album's success helped him dominate radio stations worldwide, and K-Mac is largely responsible for that success. Fame debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and received 3 Grammy Award nominations, winning Best R&B Album. But originally, Kevin said that the song Deuces was not supposed to be on the album.
It was my song. It was a separate package from the whole thing. It's like, here's your 10 songs. Oh, and guess what? Listen to this in the car. He was listening to it the whole week. And he's like, nah, I need that song. I need that song.
Okay.
No, I need to come out. I'm an artist. I'm not a producer. I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer or a producer. I'm just me. And I give away a lot of my stuff. So that's how I became writer.
K-Mac ultimately decided to give the song to Chris after they agreed that Kevin would be listed as a featured artist. Deuces would end up being the album's top performing single, reaching number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100 and putting Kevin McCall in the spotlight. He claims he never got paid for the song, but kept working with Chris Brown because ultimately it was good for his career. He was featured on a song called No BS and Strip, which peaked at number 37 and was certified platinum.
Yeah, I know that
After
song.
that, he and Chris went their separate ways, ending a nearly decade-long partnership. Their apparent feud spilled into the public eye in March 2016 when McCall wrote on Twitter, "We need to sit down and handle this business. I tried the adult business route. I feel my kindness is being taken for weakness." On multiple occasions in his Vlad TV interview, McCall hinted that he was not afraid to get physical.
I'm a very real person. A lot of people can't take that. A lot of people around him was fake ass niggas. I didn't want to f them up, so I just wouldn't be around. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know who I'm talking to. And so he decided to call me on the phone and tell me how much of a bad look, but he didn't tell me in a professional way. So I had to, check him and let him know, don't ever talk to me like that again, or we'll have a conversation when you see me in person.
Brown responded on social media, accusing McCall of being ungrateful before threatening to beat him up. "You won't be able to walk, let alone sing again." Chris continued to post videos online where he repeatedly mocked Kevin.
"Thank you, K-Mac. I bought this with your money. I bought this with your money.
I remember this video.
I bought this with your money. I was thinking about giving you this, but I bought this with your money too. I bought that with your money. That's the only one on the West Coast. Oh, I bought that one with your money too."
In response, K-Mac dropped a diss track titled Beirucci in reference to Chris's ex-girlfriend Karrueche Tran. Then in 2018, media outlets reported that Kevin was shot and rumors circulated that someone in Brown's circle was responsible. However, McCall clarified, "Chris Brown and his seed would be in a casket if he had anything to do with me being shot." Their feud would eventually cool off, but Kevin McCall never found remotely any success as an individual artist, mostly because he had only released a handful of singles in the last decade. He almost entirely faded into obscurity until October 2025 when he appeared on the Back on Fig podcast, where he explained that not getting paid from Chris Brown left him flat broke.
"I can't even fight the Chris Brown shit. I got all type. I didn't get paid for Look at Me Now. I wrote on that. I wrote a whole verse, then Busta Rhymes cut the verse off, but I still did this part. What was we talking about? I need that bread."
From there, he broke down in tears about his financial struggles, even holding up his government assistance card on camera.
Why the f I got an EBT card? And this nigga is at Breezy, bro, and made 90 whatever the f million, and it say KKKKK Mac. Can I get 25,000 for them four songs I owe you, bro? I just want to leave, bro.
Leading up to who he is.
I'm not even tripping though. I got an EBT card, my nigga. Like what the f, bro? I can't even get nothing, bro, man. Y'all niggas want to see a nigga crying here, so y'all can think I'm a.
Bro.
That ain't fair, nigga.
Hey,
I'm on EBT, bro.
Hey.
That's why.
Bro. Hey, look, bro.
Calm down, bro. I'm on EBT, Smack. Look. Say my name, bro. That shit is better. I had to go up in that motherfucker and hide my face with a mask.
Chris Brown had zero empathy for K-Mac, posting to Instagram, "You can't."
Yo, this is crazy. This is one of the craziest beefs I ever saw.
Chris Brown had zero empathy for K-Mac, posting to Instagram, "You can't walk across a burnt bridge. You know what's funnier than a troll? A broke one." But at least Kevin McCall is still here and has a platform to tell his story, because others are not as fortunate, like Cali Swag District, who made one of the most iconic dance hits of the 2010s, but didn't have a fair shot at a career because two of their members suddenly died. Hip-hop has had countless popular dance trends throughout the years, from the Running Man and the Cabbage Patch in the 80s, to the Tootsie Roll and the Harlem Shake in the 90s, to Dem Franchise Boys' Lean With It, Rock With It, and Soulja Boy's Crank That in the 2000s. The 2010s kicked off strong when Cali Swag District, fresh off signing with Capitol Records, released their debut single, Teach Me How to Dougie. Despite only peaking at number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100, nobody would argue against this song being a hit, as it is still being played at school dances, parties, and weddings till this day. While the group didn't invent the Dougie, because it originated in Dallas, Texas in the early 2000s, they're credited with popularizing it worldwide. And when the song blew up, everybody was hitting the Dougie, including A-list celebrities and athletes. The group attempted to build on their buzz with two more singles, Where You Are and Kickback, though they didn't perform as well. However, nothing would be the same after the night of May 15th, 2011, when Monte M-Bone Talbert was sitting in the passenger seat of a parked car outside of a liquor store in Inglewood. According to investigators, a gunman in a separate vehicle pulled up and opened fire before speeding away.
So when I go up to the window, I'm talking to him. I'm like, boom. He ain't say nothing. His head is laying on the back of the seat, like, and bro not moving. I say his name again. I'm like, boom, move, get up. And then I seen blood come out, bro, ear. That's when I lost it.
M-Bone was pronounced dead at the hospital. The group's manager, Greg Miller, said, "What makes this especially sad is that none of the guys have ever been involved in any type of gang activity. Weeks after his death, authorities were still struggling to identify a suspect or determine a motive. Still, the Inglewood Police Department didn't consider the shooting a gang hit. Some locals suspected the killer might have just been jealous of Talbert's success. The sentiment was shared at his funeral. I think he wanted to be known as the person who took M-Bone out." What was particularly sad was that M-Bone was the most prolific dancer of the group. He outshined everyone. So without him, the group lost a major piece of their identity. To make things worse, their business was struggling as well. Cali Swag District was signed to Capitol Records, however their parent company, EMI, ceased to exist as an independent major label after being broken apart and sold. The company had been struggling financially for years and was taken over by Citigroup in 2011 due to debt. Citigroup then sold EMI in pieces. Its recorded music division was acquired by Universal Music Group. When Universal took over, they went through the roster and prioritized the artists bringing in the most money, meaning a lot of smaller acts ended up getting dropped, getting shelved, or just not promoted the same way anymore. The group's debut album was continually delayed as a result of the merger. Cali Swag District eventually requested to be released from their contract with Capitol. Soon after, they found a home with Sphinx Music Entertainment / 319 Music Group before releasing The Kickback on July 12, 2011. But the tragedy of M-Bone's death and constant delays meant the album ended up flying under the radar. Plus, when your hit song is a dance record, it can become a trap. The song spreads because it's simple, catchy, and tied to a specific moment, but that same formula makes it hard to repeat. Fans don't connect with the artist, they connect with the dance. And the problem is that once the dance is no longer trendy, the artists lose all their attention. And before the group could redefine themselves or regain their momentum, another member, Karan J.R. Childs, died on June 6, 2014 at just 25 years old. J.R. had been living with sickle cell anemia, a genetic blood disorder that affects the shape of red blood cells, which carry oxygen to all parts of the body. In early June of 2014, he was admitted to the hospital after becoming ill. From there, he went into cardiac arrest and passed away. The two surviving members decided that they can't exactly pursue Cali Swag District as a duo. While Smooth the General appears to have stepped away from the spotlight, OFB Young has stayed active as a solo artist, continuing to release singles to this day.
I never got over it, you know what I'm saying? I just know that I gotta keep their name alive. If I don't do it, of course the song gonna live forever, but you know, who gonna tell the story?
And sadly, this isn't exclusive to musicians. Viral fame destroys people in every corner of the entertainment industry. So if you want to see how even bigger internet stars completely collapsed after their 15 minutes of fame, check out this video.
Wow, that was a crazy video, I'm not gonna lie. What is this, the art of faking your identity? What? But yeah, this was a crazy video. I just wanted to figure out like what happened to like some of these one-hit wonders and stuff like that, because they generally like made a really like good song and then they just fade out into the existence. So this was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty sad too. Like most of these, outside of the first one, all the rest of them is pretty sad stories and stuff. So yeah, guys, what y'all think of the video? Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.